Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? We have for you, we've only got one clip to watch. It's quite a long clip, but not too long. And I will, of course, react and stop the video to react to it when I have some points to make as and when. Now, this is about the COVID-19 relief bill. And I'm going to put it to you, as the video goes on, that it shouldn't even be called a COVID-19 bill, because as you can see here, this is the Democrats' bill. Now they're in control of everything. They're just going to ram it through. So the blue, you can see the 9%, that is COVID-related things, and then the yellow is non-COVID related things. When I heard of Chuck Schumer's bridge and Nancy Pelosi's tunnel, I thought that was rubbish. I thought it was a joke. I actually thought it was comedy, right? It's actually real, right? From what I've seen, it's actually real. They want bridges going from here and a tunnel dug there. What this has to do with COVID, I don't know. And who's paying for it? You're paying for it. This is just how bad things have gotten, right? It's blatantly out there, in your face. They are peeing on your head, telling you it's raining to your face, and then demanding that you tell them how good it tastes. That's what they're doing to you, really. So let's get into this clip. But if you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video around. That'll help me stay competitive with the mainstream media, who do like to hide this type of thing for you. But also, YouTube is sectioning off independent commentary channels, people who put forward a different point of view. So I need your help now more than ever to grow this small channel. Okay, let's get into this clip.
And instead refer to it as the Pelosi payoff. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy joins me right now. And Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. Welcome.
Good morning, Maria. Thanks for having me back.
Let's take a look at this pie, which you tweeted out. You've got money for the unions. You've got money for the rail car in San Francisco, Pelosi's tunnel, Schumer's bridge.
So, sorry to interrupt so quickly, but researching it further, I have found that Pelosi's tunnel is a train tunnel. She wants a train tunnel. And Schumer's bridge is a bridge in New York. The Pelosi's tunnel is in California, and Schumer's bridge is in New York. Now, New York, of course, where Schumer's based, the people of New York need to get their businesses opened. The people of New York need to get rent control and rates, their business rates, to come down. The streets need to be cleaner. The communities need to be safer. Law enforcement needs to be backed and refunded as much as they need it. These are all the things that should be a priority. But Chuck Schumer, who spent his entire life in Washington, D.C., okay, his thoughts about what his constituents in New York really need is a bridge. A bridge. Schumer's bridge. Like there's not enough bridges already in New York. And as for Pelosi, it's the same. Pelosi, with California, it's even worse. In California, there's people laying out on the streets. I've been homeless. I know what it's like to be homeless, right? So I know what these people are going through. But it's even worse in California than it is here in Britain. You've got human waste out on the streets. Needles, syringes all over the place. The living expenses and crime is even higher in California than it is in New York. And what do the people of California get? Pelosi's train tunnel. And what's worse is that all of this is being put into a bill that's meant to be about COVID relief.
National Endowment for the Arts getting almost $300 million. Planned Parenthood, universities, another several $100 million. Walk us through why this is called a COVID-19 relief bill when you only have 9% of the $1.9 trillion actually allocated for COVID-related spending.
It's just unbelievable. This thing is just so corrupt, so costly, and you look at it, it's just so liberal. Think about it for one moment. Only less than 9%. We have done 5 other COVID bills, and every single one of those was bipartisan. The Biden administration has become the most partisan administration in modern history. Think for one moment, we still have $1 trillion sitting out there that has to be appropriated, sent to the economy. The money in this bill for schools, 95% of it won't even go out this fiscal year. 2/3 of it won't go out to 2023. I mean,
so just think about that. This is a COVID bill that large sections of the total amount, which you're paying for, isn't even going to be allocated until 2022 and 2023. This money for schools that aren't even open, who's this money going to? Whose bank accounts is it going to? This needs to be investigated. The whole thing. Money, $300 million for the liberal arts, universities, museums, and art galleries. Whose bank account does that go into? The money just doesn't get given to an art foundation and then it just sits in a room, a big pile of $100 bills. That goes into bank accounts. Right? Whose? Why? For what reason? Who are they who's getting it and why are they getting it? Right? And what does it have to do with COVID-19?
I mean, the real focus here should putting people back to work, back to school, and back to health. This bill does not do it. And the irony here is Nancy Pelosi, when it came public that she put in $112 million for a subway project that has failed just outside of her district in Silicon Valley, in the dead of night right before, she added more money to it. It's up to
I believe this is the bridge they're talking about, Pelosi's bridge. This woman is evil. You know, if there are anybody out there in her constituency down in California, if you think she exists for you, if you think she's in politics for you, you are beyond a fool. You are a word. They need to think up a new word to describe you. If you think Nancy Pelosi is in politics for you.
$140 million. What we did, we tried to redirect the money. We put an amendment up to say, let's take that $140 million, apply it to parents to be able to use it for their children's mental health. With kids being out of school, 3 million of them more for the last year, we find depression, suicide, anxiety. In my own district, I'm finding the D's and F's are continuing to go forward. We could redirect that money to be spent there. Every single Democrat voted no on that.
And it gets worse because this money has to be paid back, right? Or if you notice, all of this money is going to public sectors, or the majority of it, or public works like bridges and subways and Nancy Pelosi's bridge and all this tunnel and Schumer's bridge and all this stuff, arts and crafts and this type of stuff, education. That money has to come from the private sector, right? Conservatives generally are amassed in the private sector. Left-wing people generally are amassed in the public sector, because in the public sector they can spend conservatives' money without any accountability. They can give themselves egregiously outlandish pay rises because the money comes from the private sector. It's not their money, they ain't got to worry about it. They can fail upwards with zero accountability. But the point of the matter is, if you are out there, if you've got a family, you live in the United States, let's say you have a family, you have your first child. You have your first child tomorrow. Your child is born. So it's a boy, your son is born. Do you know how much debt your son will immediately have on his head to pay back to the state? Tens of thousands of dollars. He will be immediately in debt. This is the debt that's being passed on to the next generation. I hope you understand that.
Well, I mean, every single Republican in the House voted no on this bill, and it still passed. So they're in the lead.
Yes.
What are you going to do about it? Can you, as the leader of the Republican Party, do anything about this agenda that includes executive orders that blow off the law and money for pet projects?
The Republicans, as much as I love them and support them, they had their chance. You did nothing. This is the thing, when Republicans and conservatives in general are in a position of power to make a move, they do nothing because they're worried about getting called nasty words by the Twitterati, or they're worried about the mainstream media doing a hit piece on them, calling them whatever ism and ist and obic that is the word of the day, right? Whereas they should just say to themselves, to hell with what the mainstream media says, to hell with what they think, to hell with what the Twitterati says. They are lemmings, right, who serve themselves. So to hell with what they say and push forwards with the American First agenda, right? Don't worry about the mainstream media. And now you're in opposition, now you've lost with grace, what are you going to do? You're going to take the advice of Ted Cruz and write a strongly worded letter. Oh yeah, let's write a strongly worded letter.
You're right. The only bipartisan vote we had on the overall bill was no. Every Republican and 2 Democrats joined with us. You know, the Democrats only have a 5-seat majority. They just spent almost $2 trillion in the most partisan way you can. But you know the one thing that they did cut? Medicare. This bill cuts more than $36 billion this year from Medicare, and next year for the next 10 years. That's what the Democrats voted for. So what we need is people joining with us. And I believe if you look forward, their agenda has going so far. The socialists have brought this swamp back. That's what this bill shows. The swamp is back in Washington, and that's what we have to fight. And I think we're going to put up a...
Of course, that's what it was always about. That's what it was always about. The amount of people I've seen on the Twitter universe who have had buyer's remorse over Biden with his bombings of Syria, and it's been quite amusing really to watch them try to spin. The more lemmings of them, the more diehard vote blue no matter who type people, how they've tried to spin Biden's bombing of Syria into a bad thing being a good thing. It wasn't bad that Joe Biden dropped bombs on schools and hospitals. It was actually a good thing, right? Watching them spin it is amusing. Look at how many years it's taken them to debate and push through a COVID bill. A COVID bill that the majority of it is money you're paying to these liberal arts places and the liberal establishment out of your pocket. It's taken them, what, over a year? How long did it take them to agree, the DC swamp, how long did it take them to all agree unilaterally that the best thing they could do is bomb Syria? It took them about 7 hours. It took them 7 hours to agree to bomb another country. But they can't, it takes them over a year to agree on a COVID bill that ostensibly is meant to provide relief for you, but all it does is make you pay money from your account, money you don't even have, right? You're paying for it and you're giving them money. And even that, it's took them over a year to do.
Pretty good fight, and you wait. I believe in a short time frame here, you're going to watch us winning.
So you're going to win the House, you believe, in 2022?
Well, I believe it for so many reasons. I mean, think of the future between Democrats versus Republicans. The future for the Democrats is Governor Cuomo, Gavin Newsom, Eric Swalwell. Now think about the Republicans. We've got Senator Tim Scott, Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis. I think our ideas have proven, especially in the last year, that we help people. We keep states open. And one of the worst parts of this last COVID relief bill, they changed the funding systems to states where they reward bad behavior. So if you have a pension out of whack, if you overspent your money, if you kept your state closed, you get rewarded by taking hardworking taxpayers' money and giving it to them instead of states that have done the right thing.
And that's another thing with this bill that's meant to help you. They've finally got their way, right? They tried to do this throughout the whole Trump administration, but they've finally got their way. The Democrat-run states that are very badly run, in some cases Democrat-run cities in states that, so in some cases are states that are governed by Democrats, but sometimes are even governed by Republicans. But the city, the big urban area, is governed by or ran by like a Democrat mayor. These cities and states have ran their city and state into the ground. They're heavily indebted, and now finally they've got their way. Finally, you fiscally responsible Republicans, conservative family people who go to work every day, you're responsible with your money. They have finally gotten you to bail out these Democrat-ran cities. They've finally got it. They've been trying to do this for years. All through the Trump years, they tried to do this. Now they're in control. They've finally done it. Again, yet again, you pay. They receive, you pay. Yet again.
Keeping open, getting kids back in school.
Well, congratulations on this. Rasmussen reports and this favorability survey. The survey indicated that you had a 43% favorability rating, a larger number than any other congressional leader. 35% had an unfavorable view of you. You are the leader here in terms of favorability. Reaction to the fact that...
Look at Mitch McConnell on 29%. Not surprised. I'm surprised that Schumer has even 33%. And Pelosi 37%. Just amazing that anyone out there can think that they're doing a good job. But as I say, they are the vote blue no matter who types.
Mitch McConnell was at 29%. Schumer even worse than that at 33%. AOC 34%. And Nancy Pelosi at 37%, lowest favorability rating in Congress. Congressman.
Well, I think the American public just simply say that they do not want the swamp back. They do not want these socialist ideas. And the one thing I have always said, and your viewers know this, we will listen to those men and women that have not been listened to before, the forgotten man and woman. Those are the people that we're working for, to make America first and continue to grow. This idea that we have this new partisan administration that opens the border, has a plan to open the border but not open our schools. The Democrats, their very first bill, their most important bill that they're moving, that you talked a little bit about, H.R. 1, is about protecting them, not helping the American public. They want to take taxpayers' money, the hardworking taxpayer, to use it on their own campaigns. They want to change election law so they can change the system so they would be guaranteed that they would always win. They want to have a czar that would take away free speech and what's happening in campaigns. This is the most important thing to them, to just hold on to power.
I'm really glad you brought this up, because this was my next subject to raise with you. Nancy Pelosi's #1 priority is election reform. You, being the leading Republican, you have...
That should worry you. The fact that someone like Nancy Pelosi, as evil as she is very interested in, quote, election reform should concern you, right? This isn't going to be something that's going to benefit you, right? This isn't something that she's going to be doing that will result in your life being better, right? This is going to be something, I don't quite know what it curtails. Pelosi's, quote, election reform. I don't know what it is, what's going to happen with it. But all I know, what I do know for certain is it will benefit her, not you.
I think showing an ID to get on an airplane, yeah, I could do that. I can also show an ID to vote. Because in
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll leave it there because we've gone past the gamut of the COVID relief bill. He's made a few other points that I think's beyond the scope of this video, so we'll leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video around. That really helps this small channel grow, helps us try and get some traction in an era where conservative commentators are unfortunately shadow banned and silenced and isolated from the public debate. A public debate that needs to be had. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.